Yo, call me Sonic Racing the way your wife I'm embracing. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today and only today, my voice is a little bit gone. The Game Awards happened yesterday. Did a bunch of reactions you can go check out. But of course, you guys know I had to do my thing and bring you that nice big ol' analysis of the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds game. And so we got a new Sonic game announced at the Game Awards. The train never seems to be leaving the station, and I'm so excited. So there's a lot to talk about. I know it is a 25-second teaser, but you would be shocked how much, of course, I can yap, and of course how much info I could find on the internet. So to preface this, there was a day before the Game Awards a post by Pioro that posted a gif of Sonic Racing. Like it was like the TSR animated tree. Just posted a picture, Sonic and Shadow racing side by side. Everyone was like, oh, it's a racing game, right? Obviously, I've been yapping and wishing and praying for riders, and it hasn't been the case. But let's go ahead and just watch the trailer first again, and then we will do our nice little analysis. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching the Game Awards. I'm freaking out. Now, the only thing we know, by the way, is that Jeff Keighley said he has played it, and that's really it. I know what's funny enough is I saw him in Japan. Okay, so we have the Shadow car over here. We got Shadow. I love how they're just doing one more run of just starting a trailer with Shadow just for his year, and that is literally it. Like, that was quite literally the trailer. If you really think about it, it's like a 20-second teaser. But yeah, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds coming soon. No release date, not even a release year. We do have the consoles, right? So PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Nintendo Switch, Steam, Epic Games. I did see some people saying like, oh, unfortunately it's coming to Switch because it's going to lower the scale. I don't think so. Next year we're going to have the Switch 2 out. Probably going to have a version for both. And you also cannot discount the Switch one. That is probably one of their biggest selling platforms. But let's get into analysis mode. So right over here, first of all, nothing. All right, we see a car. Now, right away, obviously, people want riders. You know, like, why is the car here? I do like that it starts with Shadow, you know, in the garage, pulling it up. Obviously, you know, you're Shadow. But I am blocking something right behind me. That is the most crucial detail to this video. Right? That's right. If you look here, guys, what does that look like? What is that shape on the wall? Doesn't that look like a board of some sorts? You know, a kind of, you know, hoverboard potentially, maybe, right? That would allude to a rider's. But no, that is 100% a Sonic Riders hoverboard. I can't decipher the color of it. It looks maybe like a dark green or something. It's too hard to tell because it's doing that. But yeah, regardless, there's no reason they should just have a, you know, a cart like that over here. Now, my thing with that is like, could it just be an Easter egg, right? Like, hey, you know, of course we acknowledge Sonic Riders. I feel like it'd be weird. It'd be weird to have that there unless you were alluding to the fact that maybe it would be usable by a certain character, right? So that's really it, but that is going to be important to know when we go into some of the extra details about the trailer. But besides that, right, I'm looking here. I will say, now, this shows you, by the way, how far in the trenches I am and how fucking nerdy I am. So if you look at Shadow, his character model is the Sega Hardlight CG model. This is the same model used in the Sonic X Shadow Generations launch trailer. If you could tell by shadows there, the texturing, it's exactly the same. How do I know this? Again, I'm psycho. Don't ask me. You guys know how it be. But yeah, it is 100% the Sega Hardlight art style for this, right? And then you get a bit of a fire boost. You get just a city. You know, maybe Shibuya, maybe Tokyo, you know, based on everything that's been going on, but no real indication. And then that's it. We do have a portal over here indicating, you know, traveling to different dimensions or worlds potentially, right? And then we have the logo, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. So it seems like they're changing in general Sega's, like, the racing branding to officially Sonic Racing, right? So, like, Team Sonic Racing was like the subtitle technically of Sonic Racing. Right now, this is Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. So clearly, that's what they're going with on this one. They're shying away from using words like riders or kart or whatever. Just Sonic Racing, which leaves it open to being any kind of vehicle they want. Now, I did see people, right, bring up the fact that the logo, right, the CrossWorlds logo sort of looks like the Sonic Prime logo. I think that's like a bit of a stretch, but I can see where they're coming from with it, right? Because, you know, they're doing CrossWorlds. Sonic Prime was all about going around to different worlds. It's definitely possible, right? But let's get into some of the extra info. My voice is completely fucked right now. Let's get into some of the extra info. So one thing I discovered yesterday, right? Because look, if you notice here, no developer, right? No developer at all is mentioned here. But yesterday, this tweet was deleted, right? So Game Awards tweeted, do you have what it takes? This is Sonic Racing CrossRoads. First of all, they got the title wrong. It's CrossWorlds, not Crossroads. But then they tagged at Sega Hardlight. Right now, did they delete this because of the title mistake? Did they delete it because they tagged the wrong developer? Like, what was the reason? I don't know, but this is deleted, which is interesting. Now, like I said, the CG in this is Sonic Hardlights. I know this for a fact. I can tell it has that exact same model and everything, right? But again, like, are they developing the game? Because that's a big thing, right? That's a big question, right? Because first of all, Sega Hardlight, if anyone knows them, they have been on the mobile side forever. Like, they exclusively have been making Sonic mobile games for pretty much like since the beginning. I mean, obviously they're called Sega Hardlight, but like if you look at Sega Hardlight games, right, look what they've done over the years, right? They've made Sonic Dream Team, they've made Sonic Prime Dash, they've made Sonic Dash, Sonic Forces, Sonic Dash. Like, these guys, they've obviously, you know, they even make Sonic Racing on Apple Arcade, right? Like, these guys are pros at this. And they actually, it's just, I didn't even know this, that they made the PC port of Sonic Forces. So these guys, regardless, have a long history of working on Sonic, and they never really got a shot at a console Sonic game. So I would be interested just on the sheer fact of like, hey, these guys, you know, have worked hard, especially if you guys look at Dream Team. I mean, one of the most beloved things about Sonic Dream Team is how expressive and nice the character models look in the cutscenes, right? Like, they just look super expressive, you know, before a boss fight or whatever, where you see their character models or even their idle animations. Like, they are really good at animating these characters. And another notable thing about Hardlight is they are the only developer to be able to work on multiple versions of the characters. So remember, if you think of the mobile game Sonic Forces Speed Battle that's still going on, these guys have gotten IDW characters in those games. They've gotten Sonic Prime characters in those games. They've got movie characters. So if we are going with the idea of Sonic Racing CrossRoads, where I don't know if it's a Sega thing or if it's a Sonic only thing, they've worked on other character models, which would mean it would be easier to get those characters in the game by proxy. Now, let's continue the rabbit hole, because again, like I said, your boy, little cuckoo crazy, Japanese account, right, tweets it out. But the Japanese account, auto translation, so it's hard to really tell exactly what they're saying, but it says Sega's greatest action racing game ever. Sonic Racing CrossRoads to be released, the latest title from the elite Sega racing game team. Please stay tuned for further updates. Now, at first I thought this might have been Sega's greatest action racing game, so it's going to include Sega characters, but no, I think this is going to be exclusively Sega characters. I don't think this is going to be like an all-star situation. And we also have a last major piece of information here. That's right. If you right now were to search Sonic Racing CrossRoads official site, now the official site, empty. No information. You have a language choice. You could share it on socials. It just says coming soon. But right here, guys, right here, you see this? It has a description here. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, right? Race across land, sea, air, and space and time. So massive right here. This is huge. This is literally giving away what the gimmick is. So we officially know that this is going to be an everything game, right? It's going to combine all aspects seemingly from the games, because race across land, you assume the car, sea, air, and space, right? What would they use for space? Because we know based on Sega All-Stars Racing Transform, sea and air would mean, you know, you have like a car, you know, your car turns to the boat that hovers over the water. And then if you pick air, the car is used to fly, right? But space is a question mark. Are we gonna what? Are we gonna get a hover car? Are we gonna get some kind of different aspect? I don't know, but something tells me one of these things will use the rider's board. I think this is their way of integrating riders in it without the game being completely riders based. But I do think whether it's sea, air, or space, one of those is going to use the hoverboard. It's in the trailer for a reason, and I feel like this just makes way too much sense. And traveling across time would explain maybe the Sonic Prime like logo where they're going to different time frames. I don't know, but this doesn't tell me anything about Sega being involved. So I don't think this is, sadly, as much as I would have wanted it, this is not going to be a Sega All-Stars racing situation where we get a bunch of Sega characters. I think this is going to exclusively be a Sonic racing game. But like I said, there's a lot of excitement when you think about what's going on with the developer potentially being Hardlight, because the other potential is that it's Sumo Digital, right? Sumo Digital makes sense. They worked on Team Sonic Racing. They worked on Sega All-Stars, Sega All-Stars Racing Transform. Like, they have a good history with, wait, no, am I stupid? Never mind. They worked on Team Sonic Racing. No, I am dumb. They worked on all the racing games, basically. So, yeah, I think that's the big question mark. Is like, why did they shy away from telling us who the developer is? Because I feel like that would have been just easy information. And it's interesting because, like, the game just says coming soon, right? Now, we just have Sonic Shadow Generations happening. Maybe they just don't want to potentially hurt sales, right? You know, they probably have the game with concrete information and everything, right? But they probably just don't want to say anything while movie hype is going on, right? There's no point of putting up pre-orders for something while people are buying Shadow Gens, getting hype for the movie. I feel like it would just shoot the game in the foot. So I do think the game probably further along than most things. Again, Jeff Keighley did say he played it. Now, that doesn't really mean much either because he could have played an early alpha, but this is like a weird insider piece of information and I can't believe I'm crazy like this. So Jeff Keighley started the Game Awards saying that this year for the 10th anniversary, he went around the world to scour for different developers, to find out different information, to get different exclusives, right? When I was in Japan, Jeff Keighley was at the Sega office the same day I was, right? And so we saw him there, said hi to him and everything, right? But again, he did say he was going around the world to get these different deals, right? So if he had played it potentially in September when I was there, you'd assume he played a build of it 3-4 months ago. And who knows how long the game's been in development, right? But we do know a few things. We're gonna go to our boy over here. Shout out to Spam, right? Now, the game is not Sega All-Stars. So let's start with some of the facts here that lead more towards this being a Sumo Digital project. So in April of this year, right, there was this article on LinkedIn, right, that said right here, reusing the engine for Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform, I hold responsibility for the continued maintenance and development of the engine, which is currently in use for 3 unannounced titles and recently used for Team Sonic Racing and Hotshot Racing, developing by Sumo, blah, 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 blah. So this guy, right, named Chris Rea, potentially on the line, right? Chris Rea, not only a random new employee, but thank you, by the way, for Spam for pointing this up. This dude has worked on all the other racing games. So Chris Rea had a hand developing Sega racing games, Sega All-Stars Tennis on the DS, and most of them, right? And then former Midori, like they pointed out, said, Sumo Digital and Hardlight are developing new Sega All-Stars titles. A new tennis is currently in development. So to me, right, I'm thinking Hardlight most likely on this tennis game and Sumo Digital on the racing game. There's no reason for Sumo Digital not to come back for this game when they worked on all the other racing games, right? That's just, it makes sense. And it feel like it would be random to give it to Hardlight. Now, I would be happy if Hardlight did it because, again, Hardlight, like I said, has worked on Sonic for a long time. They've worked on the Sonic mobile racing game. Like, they know what they're doing, but maybe it's a collaborative effort. That'd be really cool, right? What if it was Sumo Digital and Sega Hardlight working together on it? But again, I still go back to the Google search of the game because, to me, right, if we're gonna sit down and do predictions, right, race across land, sea, air, and space and time in Sonic Racing, I'm predicting that this game is just probably going to be a bigger scale version of Team Sonic Racing. Now, I have my issues with Team Sonic Racing. Not really my favorite Sonic game, Sonic Racing game of them all, to be honest with you. I feel like for the most part, it's kind of bland. I do like the racing tracks. In fact, it's funny. I have a nice memory of that game because it was technically the first Sonic game I ever got for review, but I thought the racetracks were fun, but the game sort of like died quickly. Like, it didn't get updates. It felt like the roster was extremely lacking. Like, there was barely anything to do with the roster. There was like 15 characters, which is really nothing. And I just didn't like the team racing mechanic. If I'm playing one of these games, and the game just felt like a downgrade, right? Like the previous game, again, we were going in the air and the sea, right? But now we're bringing that back: land, sea, air, and space, and time. Now, my prediction and hope for this game is that I hope it does this mechanic where maybe on the second lap of a level, you go to a completely different version of a level. So think of Sonic CD, right? You know, you have like the future and past. What if, like, when you get to lap 2, you hit a sign that says like future, right? And you go to a future version of a level, right? Or you go to a past version of a level, right? And it looks older and destroyed, or the future part looks futuristic. Like, there's so much potential, especially if there's like land, sea, and air, where like you're swapping to aerial parts during different parts of the level. That'd be really sick. Now, the way All Stars Racing Transformed worked was everyone at a certain part of the level got to the air part, right? Everyone at a certain part got to the land part, right? But I would love if they really emphasized the chaotic aspect of the game, where, like, I don't know, if someone goes to the left path, they're flying. Someone goes to the bottom path, they're riding on the water. Like, make it really grand scale in that sense, that feels like everyone is almost competing in their own lane. Now, maybe that wouldn't be great for like item use. Like, where would items go if they were to track down a character to go against? But I don't know, maybe they emphasize items a little less and focus on skill. You know, that would be kind of cool. Maybe obviously you have items. I do hope, my one prediction and prayer is that they bring back the ultimate items from Sega All-Stars Racing, right? The first Sega All-Stars Racing, characters had these finishers or ultimates where like Sonic would go Super Sonic, or other characters would have different ultimates. Like, that was so cool. It was the character's like ultimate item. But I just think this time around, right, with how far Sega has come and how far Sonic Team has come, that there's a lot more going on here, right? I feel like with the potential of this game, right, and where Sonic Team is at as a studio, you could have some crazy midway race cinematics. I hope there's a cool story mode, but yeah, I will say, like, this to me confirms there's no Sega aspect of this. Now, maybe they will travel to different Sega places, but I feel like this description plus the titling is pretty definitive to me that this is going to be a Sonic only thing, which again, I'm okay with, as long as they actually give us a diverse roster, they give us DLC, they give us a lot of content. If that's the case, I will be happy. I will love this, you know? So, and an extra bonus piece of info, T. Lopes with the eye emoji. You know what I'm saying? My man saying I'm just showing interest, right? It's beautiful. Look at that damn vehicle. Batman wishes. We know about you, T. All right, we know about you. All right, we know you working on that OST. All right, you. Come on, don't do this. Please, though, please have T working on it with Jun Sonoe and the entire team. Please, that would be awesome. But guys, that's everything on Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel? Are you disappointed it's not a Riders game? Would you have rather that? What's your potential thoughts? What do you want from this game? When do you think it's coming? I personally think it's going to be the next year game. I think next year things are going to be a little bit more chill, right? Because, you know, Sonic movie technically is going to have its theatrical run for the first month or two of the year, right? So it's going to go into like February, probably in theaters. So they're going to be talking about that. We're going to have the Switch 2. I could see this 100% being a Switch 2 direct launch reveal trailer. I could see it being at one of those events. But besides that, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen next year. There's a potential of a Sonic Heroes remake, but I feel like that's what they would have shown here if they were going to go show something. I don't know. I feel like next year is actually going to be the quiet year for Sonic, but I've been saying that for the last 2 years now. So they keep going crazy. I think we're at a point where Sonic can be an annualized franchise without it doing too much, because you're going through different genres, different things. I don't know. I do hope we get a Heroes remake. I do hope we get maybe some more remasters. Would be really nice. I feel like That's what it's going to be next year. Next year is going to be the racing game, remasters, and maybe a new show. I think that's going to be the big three of next year. But guys, let me know, of course, in the comment section below what you think. I love you guys. Thank y'all for watching. And of course, I'll see you all next time. Peace out.